Okay, I know this song. I know when I was.
What are your grandchildren gonna do for
So call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, June 2nd.
Commissioner Ernst,
Here.
Commissioner Engel,
Here.
Commissioner Rollins is absent this evening. Commissioner Vogelsang
Here.
and Commissioner Wright.
Here. Any changes to the agenda? Nope. All right, we'll open the floor to public requests. Please state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
Sil Ciliberti, 6100 Northwest Second Avenue, Boca Raton. Hello, honorable commissioners. Good evening, support staff and legal counsel. I was reading through the agenda regarding North Park, and that one of the items mentioned was the acquisition aimed to preserve the land from private development. And all the Boca Chica residents were very grateful when that happened. We did develop a small army to prevent that also. Consider myself a lieutenant general of that army, and there were many people behind that. One thing left off in the history, and I think all Boca Chica residents, as well as Boca, the city, and the greater Boca area, should be grateful for, and was not mentioned, was the raising of the land where several structures from glorified past were removed, flattened, and just basically became green space. And one of them was a clubhouse, one of them was a motel, which wasn't the best of motels, and it was gone. And so we're very grateful for that. So before any of my neighbors come up and speak negatively of the skate park, because I live in the community and I'm there a lot and I talk to neighbors, I want to point out a possible benefit that it would bring. First of all, hopefully there's been a pinpointed location of where this will take place. And if so, I'm suggesting, and I'm going to state it publicly now, I've reached out to several of you, sound barriers, a green sound barrier, which is a sound barrier wall with greenery on it, growth. And pretty much the park runs north-south. The dog leg is completely parallel to the train tracks. If we did 4 sound barriers completely encompassing the skate park, it would actually benefit the residents because we would block out the noise of the train. So I want everyone to keep that in mind. I think it's a great idea if the sound is completely eliminated, and it could actually benefit all of Boca Chica for the blockade of that sound if it was done properly. And I want to thank everyone for continuing several years now on this project, and we're all waiting, but we are grateful, and we don't want to forget what you've done so far. And part of that is already a beautification of that property with clearing of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Marvin Lycan, 6500 Northwest Second Avenue. I had the good fortune to attend the ribbon cutting for this state-of-the-art inclusive playground at Pat Reef Park, and I thank you, Brianne, for the invitation. I want to express my heartfelt appreciation to the Beach and Park commissioners and to Brianne Harms, the director, for making this happen. This represents, to me, the best of our city. As Boca Chica grows, you folks have not lost sight of the importance of family, of community, and children with differences. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Todd Adele. I live at 229 Southwest 5th Street in Boca. I'm here to speak in favor of the skate park proposal for North Park. Just so you know, I am 44. I still skateboard myself actively, as does my son who's here. So that just goes to show skateboarders come in all shapes and sizes, ages, and it's, you know, it's a pretty wide community of folks who participate in the activity. You know, and I understand that there's been some comments expressing that the skate park might be too noisy for the area, for local residents. I can certainly appreciate those comments. But if you look at the facts, skate parks are no louder than many other recreational activities that are out there. It's no louder than a playground or tennis court or pickleball court or basketball or anything of that nature. In fact, it can actually be quieter than many of those. There are lots of studies out there that show that. There's one you can look up from the Portland Sheriff's office that was done. So I like the idea of a sound barrier. I'm not opposed to that, but I just wanted to voice my opinion and show that facts show that skate parks do not have to be louder than other activities, especially if they're built with modern technology like concrete. You know, so long as you're not building it with steel ramps, which most people don't do anymore. Modern skate parks are built with concrete. They're really not as loud as you might think. There might be some misconceptions that are out there, like they might attract, you know, negative activities, but any skater that goes to skate parks will tell you we police our own. People that participate in the activity respect the parks. If you go to many of the skate parks that have been around in South Florida for a long time, go to Boynton, go to Lot 11 in Miami, go to lots of other examples. Those parks they're clean places. We pick up our trash. You know, there's not a lot of loud activity going on, and they're respectful to the outside neighborhoods. I would actually wonder whether the park that's been in Boca, Tim Huxold, actually did it ever generate a number of complaints from the residents that live near that park? I never heard of any myself personally. So, you know, my suggestion is that a new park, which is probably going to be family friendly, skaters of all ages, parents with their kids, that kind of thing, should be no different. There should be no reason to move that park, which might delay the project and, you know, finding a new location. That's not what we want. That's happened countless times with other skate parks in South Florida. We've talked at this meeting and at city council meetings before about how many parks have been taken away from us, and we don't want that to happen. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, my name's Landon Ricketson, 6500 Northwest Second Ave, Boca Raton. As a Boca Chica resident, I grew up going to Tim Huxold as a kid, and it was just a very positive thing in my life at that age, and actually inspired me to go into college for architecture. And so I think having another better skate park in Boca Chica would be a great idea. And it's never you get like more noise from the pool, I feel like, than the skate park, and the sound wall on the train tracks would also be a great idea to mitigate that noise. And yeah, I think it would be a great idea.
Thank you. Anybody else?
My name is Jake Feldman, 398 Northeast 25th Terrace, Boca Raton. I wanted to start off by saying that I was a patron of the Tim Huxold skate park. I'm 33 years old, from like the day it opened up until it closed. So we were always but yeah, it was a super positive aspect of my life. I still have friends today that I met there when I was a young kid, and it gave me a lot of opportunities to meet people, and it just had a really positive impact on my life. There's some people in the crowd that I met there when I was a little kid. I still know them till today. And I think the proposed location would be great for the surrounding community and the kids in that community. Just with how accessible it would be to them, and the location is easy to get to. And yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I do hear people's concerns with the sounds and everything, but I know there's tons of studies out there that say skate parks actually aren't that loud. And I think with the proposal of maybe a sound barrier, there's tons of workarounds to do it. And yeah, I just think it's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, Fabiana Delfino, 6161 Northwest Second Avenue, Boca Raton. Yeah, I'm a Boca Raton, Boca Chica resident for 3 years. Proud to be a Boca Raton resident. There's so many great amenities. We can all agree a skate park is an awesome idea. I think that just goes to show. But we're talking about the location. So there's a lot of other residents that are maybe wanting to put this skate park in a different location. I've heard maybe at the library, that field on Spanish River. Although that is a great idea, and why I only agree with that, with really just that everyone is accepting a skate park. I think that's a win, but I don't necessarily think that's the best location. I still think that the North Park location is an awesome idea. This is a really good opportunity for the skate park to be built ground up with a new park. The Tim Huxell skate park for years has been, run down. There's no attendance. So this is a great opportunity, to show the residents and the greater rollerblade skateboard community that, Boca Raton cares about every single aspect, every different outlet people have, young and old. I've been skating for 20 years, and it's now a profession. It's allowed me to own a home here in Boca. I think North Park is an absolute destination for any recreational sport. And I want to echo a few of the other residents' concerns with the noise. That's a great concern. I do want to also emphasize we are between the Tri-Rail tracks and the tracks there in Dixie, as well as a private airport. So there's noise all the time, but we love it. That's why we love the location. So I think the noise isn't necessarily the biggest factor. If that was a thing, we would be hearing about pickleball courts being a thing. So North Park is the destination for the skate park. And, whether you like skateboarding or not, it's a given. So you see the output of support. So I think we can get this done. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yep.
My name's Ryan Droz. I live at 4700 Northwest Fifth Avenue, Boca Raton. I've lived in Boca for 15 years. I'm 48 years old. I still skate here and there. I grew up playing soccer and baseball. And, when I was about 12 or 13, I started skateboarding. The community that you have in skateboarding is a lot different than the community that you have in active sports, where parents support their kids and take them to soccer practice and baseball practice and football practice, but not everybody has that ability to leverage their parents' time to let them participate in an activity that they might be passionate about, or that they can find interest out and keep them out of, trouble. When I was 11 years old, I grew up in Plantation, and they actually outlawed skateboarding in Plantation. So, kids need a place to skateboard, and some kids aren't good at team sports, or they don't fit in with organization like that. And skateboarding and surfing and sports like that are individual sports that these kids can learn at their own pace. They can learn on their own rules and their own time. They don't need to kind of fit in. They don't need to be accepted. They don't need to make a team. So when you think about, skateboarding and sports like that, and an environment that you facilitate so that kids don't have to skateboard on public property or private property because they don't have an outlet somewhere else, this could be very valuable. Now, you could move this somewhere in West Boca where it's a more affluent community. But there's probably a lot of underserved kids in those communities that are closer to these train tracks and closer to underdeveloped communities that could leverage and benefit from something like this. So, sound, I think you can fix a lot of that with greenscape, trees and bushes and whatnot. So anybody who's kind of combative against the idea that, this isn't good for the community, this is great for the community. And I think it could be a huge benefit. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, last call. Yep.
Hi, my name is Rachel Bennett. I live at 152 Northwest 12th Avenue in Boca Raton. I'm here to support the idea of placing a skate park in North Park. The city has world-class parks at Sugar Sand and at Patch Reef. It's time that we have a world-class skate park for all ages, because it's not just young kids, it's 40s, 50s, 60s, people still skating. So this would be a great opportunity for our community to have this skate park at North Park. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'm good. We'll go ahead and close public requests and do approval of the minutes of the previous board meeting held on May 19th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, moving on to regular business. Item 1, additional work order for multipurpose rink shade design.
The Commissioners, page 6 is a memo, along with an additional scope of work. We're requesting approval as presented tonight to complete the design for the shade cover at the multi-purpose rink at Sugar Sand Park. This is in light of the geotechnical report that came out. Sugar Sand got its name for the sugar sand that's there. So we're going to need some extra support in the design work for the footers. So we're just looking tonight for approval as presented.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
All right, any additional questions?
Just a question for Brianne on that. I'm sorry, but so I know I'm supportive of moving forward with the design, but does this kind of indicate that it's going to take a lot of extra cost and work to build this? Is that an indicator
It's
that
going to be
we should be
fine.
worried about?
It's going to be fine. It's
Okay,
going to be fine.
okay, good. Go for
Maybe
it
a
then.
little bit more.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
any other questions? No? All right, we'll do roll call.
Okay. Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
and Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, moving on to item number 2, North Park update.
Commissioners, in your agenda packets on page 11 is a memo as well as a report, which I typed up about North Park, just to kind of clarify really for the public. Because I've seen a lot of stuff online that's just inaccurate about what's happening at North Park. I also have a PowerPoint to supplement what I wrote up. So this is just additional information that's not in your packets, which includes a very detailed timeline of all the things that have happened out there at North Park. A lot of people are wondering, when are we going to get that golf course built? So I'm just going to reiterate where we are with the golf and what happened. So we bought the property in February 2018. We selected Price Fazio to design a golf course in April of 2018. In July of 2018, we hired MDS Builders. They tore down some of the existing structures on site, and they put up some construction fencing because we were sure that we would be building a golf course imminently. 2019, we were seeking approval to build the golf course as it was designed. This is because we have an ILA with the city of Boca because we financed the west side. And that ILA dictates that the city council needs to approve our design prior. So we spent the year going back and forth to workshop meetings, having joint meetings, seeking approval from the city council. So then we could start the whole site plan process. And then October 2020 happened when we were all surprised about the gift of a golf course that the city accepted located in county property. And the city was no longer willing to approve a municipal course in such close proximity to their new course over there off of Congress. So in March of 2021, we said we got to do something out there because my goodness, it looks terrible with all that construction fencing up there. So the district hired CSR Construction. They removed the construction fencing, got rid of all the debris that was left. They installed the sod irrigation on the main corners to try to spruce up the property so that when you drove by, it looked like a normal neighborhood then. October 2021, the district hired Miller Lake to complete what we wanted to have was a master plan for the property. That was the original plan. We never did a master plan, and I'll get to that later. November 2021 to 2022, Miller Lake began public workshops, online surveys, statistically valid surveys, stakeholder interviews, workshops, and they also workshop those conceptual plans with the public. November 2021 to 2022, this board adopted or approved a conceptual plan. It was approved by the board, and they directed me to work on a work order with Miller Lake to design the eastern portion of North Park because we own that outright, so we could do that outright without that added layer of the city approving it. We just had to go through the regular developer process, right? So we do that. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead. Here we go. So February 2023, the work order for design is approved by the board. From March to June, Miller Lake started conducting land surveys, tree surveys. They collected geotechnical data, soil samples, and they began working on the designs of those items that were included in the conceptual plan that was approved by the board. In June of 2023, they began the pre-site plan approval process with the city of Boca Raton. In September 2023, the first round of notes from the city approvers were received. In November of 2023, Miller Lake applied for the site plan approval process, officially addressing all the initial comments in that pre-site plan process. In January of 2024, additional comments were received on North Park requiring additional design work and discussions between district and city staff, which is me talking to the city about items like the tunnel and the 67th corridor and all those things that happened over the course of this. In March of 2024, we select a proposal from Malcolm Butters Group to engage in a P3 for Boca Paddle at North Park. In August of 2024, the board approved additional design work for improvements that were now being required by the city for the 67th corridor. These are all things that were added to the scope of the project as we were going through the site plan process. In August of 2024, the board approves a concession agreement with Boca Paddle so they could start their site plan process. In September of 2024, final action was taken for the site plan approval of North Park. We all breathed a sigh of relief. We're in the clear now, but wait, there's more. From October 2024 to February 2025, Miller Lake began preparing the submissions for the public works review with the city of Boca Raton. That's a whole separate layer of approval processes. And that's once you start, that's where you get to get your permits, right? So it's a big 70 acres of parkland. There's a lot of drainage, there's trails, there's all these things happening. So it's a big undertaking. We also have to go through South Florida Water Management and the Department of Environmental Protections because it was a former golf course. March through May of 2025, applications have been submitted to the city of, oh, sorry, I'm moving on without you guys, I'm sorry. March through May of 2025, applications are submitted for the City of Boca Raton Public Works Review. When I talk about PWR, that's what that is. South Florida Water Management, Department of Environment. And then we are currently on our third cycle of comments from each of these organizations. As we go through this review process, they send a round of comments back. We have to respond to all those comments, wait another 30 days, get another round of comments back. So this is how that goes. We are anticipating this to be the final round of comments for these things. April through May 2025, city advises the district that a new site plan application must be submitted to revise the previously approved resolution because I didn't want to pay the $94,000 impact fee. That was part of the resolution. So they're not going to make us pay that. We did the paperwork, went through the site plan process. We had a lot of back and forth discussions because, to be honest, I wasn't happy about it, and they know that. Discussions took place between myself and city staff. A revised resolution is slated for consideration by the city in June 2025. With the idea that we may have gone back and revisited the tunnel project, but we're not going to do that. The only thing that's really changing is that taxpayers will not have to pay those impact fees for building a park. Present day, we are expecting approvals from the city, PWR, South Florida Water Management, DEP. We're expecting all those approvals by the end of July. Project construction estimates are anticipated June 5th, which is this week. Very excited to see those numbers. And then we're going to be putting out a request for qualifications for potential bidders. We anticipate advertising that by the end of June 2025. We want to make sure that whoever builds this park has experience working with soil that may need to be moved. Obviously, having a concrete skate park is a great place to move some soil that needs to be hidden forever. Perfectly safe to skate on when the concrete's on top. It's fine. Anyway, I want to make it clear that all of these discussions approvals, agreements, and I'm going to read this verbatim. All these additional work orders, everything has been discussed at public meetings here on this dais. Nothing has ever been approved outside of these meetings or outside of this board. We've had regular meetings, special meetings, city council workshops, joint meetings with city council, presentations to community groups. We've gone to public workshops and public hearings that were held by the city of Boca Raton as we've gone through this process. So all of these things, aside from my discussions with staff at the city, which if you want to, you can always ask for emails and documents if you want to see them, but everything is done transparent and everything is done open. We discuss everything probably more than you want us to discuss it, like tonight. I want to talk a little bit about the fact that we've had a,
No, we don't open it for public comment now.
oh, you want to take a photo?
We can send them.
Oh, we'll send this out. We can send this to you, but there's the first one. Sorry, guys, we're gonna do a photo op here. We good? Oh, no. Did you take control from me? Oh, I got it back. Okay, good. Okay. So I want to talk about how priorities, recreational priorities are impacting North Park because everybody keeps talking about this needs assessment that was done. This needs assessment was done in 2019 and a lot has changed since 2019. Some of us feel like a whole lifetime has gone by since 2019, right? So we did a needs assessment with the city. It was a joint process, sort of joint. I felt not included in it and I've made that clear. So this is not news for anybody. We did an RFI when we first realized we couldn't build a golf course anymore. We did an RFI. We got 200 submissions from people in the Boca Chica neighborhood and around the community. We also, when Middle Leg was hired, they did an online survey as well as a statistically valid survey. I struggle with that word every time. Sorry. So all that data has been part of this planning process. But you take all of that data and years go by and so much has changed as we continue planning this park. We have an FAU contract where we lease athletic fields and that contract expires in 2030. And because of the growth at FAU, we anticipate not necessarily having access to those fields anymore. So those fields have to go somewhere. And DeHornley Park, because of the maintenance building we just put there and the existing fields there, feels like the best place for those athletic fields. They're open much later than a skate park will be open. They need a lot more lighting and they need a lot more parking than a skate park needs. So it feels like the best place to put those fields would be DeHornley Park. Also, we are, as the district, because we care so much about recreation, the downtown campus master plan happened. Were we a part of that process? Absolutely not. Are we a part of the process of replacing some of those recreational amenities? Of course we are. We want to be helpful because recreation is what this board does. This is what they care about. So that was unknown to us as we started planning North Park 5 years ago. We didn't know that the city was going to be getting rid of a skate park or getting rid of softball fields. So we take all this information as we go and we make adjustments to the process. And again, it's all been discussed openly at these meetings. And I want to talk, I mentioned earlier that this district approved a conceptual plan. Sometimes everybody talks like we accepted a master plan, and I just want to clarify the difference between a conceptual plan and a master plan. We've never adopted a master plan for North Park. The difference is that a conceptual plan is a high-level vision. It's illustrative, it's not technical, it's more informal and flexible, so you can make changes as you go. So when the city decides to get rid of all the recreation downtown, we have a place that we can put it, so we can be flexible when that happens. A master plan is certainly much more restrictive. It's comprehensive, it's a lot more technical, and typically the board will, a governing body would adopt a resolution saying, this is our master plan, we will not deviate from this, and all these things are going to be built before we think about changing it. So that's the difference between a conceptual and a master plan. So I just want to clarify tonight, when you hear the word master plan, that never happened at North Park. It's always been conceptual. And then I also just want to answer some of the questions that we get about the west side. Like, what's going on with the west side of North Park? Nothing. The conceptual plan for the west side of North Park has been unchanged. It currently includes golf, aquatics, trails. But again, that was a conceptual plan. So obviously, open to change. I don't think the city's going to get rid of any other recreation. So I think we're going to not have too much change over there. That was a conceptual plan. Nothing's been done over there to date, except we cut the grass and trim the trees. And we pump the water out of the tunnel. Why haven't you started building on the west side? So as I mentioned earlier, The district purchased the west side of North Park through an ILA. It's an interlocal agreement with the city of Boca Raton. The city of Boca Raton has a bond, and we are repaying the city. And we signed an agreement called an interlocal agreement, requires an extra layer of approval for anything we want to put out there. And so we went through a lot of expense, a lot of time to build that golf course, and then we were denied that approval. And so we didn't want to do that again. We obviously don't want to waste taxpayer dollars doing that again and face the fact that we could get denied again. So we said, you know what, let's focus on the east side because we own that. And once we pay these bonds off, then we can start working on the west side. And the board decided that would be the best financial move moving forward. So we're waiting until we get that fully satisfied before we start building on the west side and designing and finishing those plans out. When will the bond be paid off? The bond is scheduled, according to our agreement, to be paid in full in 2032, but don't panic. We're looking to pay that off early. This board established a reserve fund a couple of years ago to pay this bond off in 2026. We're looking to pay that off in January of 2026, actually, so right around the corner. Time is flying by, right? And why not do a P3 like you did with Boca Paddle? Well, the bond, a P3 actually jeopardizes the terms of the bond, which means that jeopardizes the terms of the ILA, which means the city could just take that property back from us. So we have not moved forward anything on the west side until that bond is satisfied. So that's where we are on the west side. Obviously, I have a lot more information about some of the things more details on what we've discussed as far as fields at various parks and things like that in our agenda packet. I don't want to reread the whole thing to you, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have about where we are in the process. But this week we should get the numbers, construction numbers. And then we'll keep moving forward. So we'll keep talking about North Park, keep talking about the skate park. We'll keep talking about all these things publicly and transparently.
She's exhausted.
Getting beat up.
So I hope that explains more clearly where we started and where we are now and why things have taken so long in terms of this project. We're not taking questions on this right now. We're not going to open up to public comment. We're going to move on. If you have any questions, we can discuss after, or you can come to the next meeting and well,
June
discuss it.
16th is the next
Yes.
meeting.
Okay. Anybody have anything?
I am so impressed. I mean, you always do an incredible job on your research and your presentation. This just tops everything. I am
I've
just so
dreamt about
grateful
North
for
Park.
all of this because it's very, very impressive. And for all of you who are here or listening to the meeting, I'm sure Joanne will provide this same information because it's a lot more detailed in our agenda packet. There are agenda packets available. But Brianne, thank you.
Nobody wants this done sooner than me. I don't want to add another slide of dates and occurrences. So we really want to get it built.
Steve?
Yeah, every time you amaze me with the work you do, you amaze me even more with the next project you get into, and this is
Thank you,
just
guys.
fantastic. So kudos.
Well, when you went through that list of the dates, it
Yes.
reminded me, it felt like a board game where you take 2 steps forward, 4 steps backwards, 2
That's how
steps
it's
forward.
spelled.
Yeah, it's back and forth. And if anything I've learned on this board is very frustrating going through all these steps in the process. So it's not like nothing has been done. There's been a lot done, and it takes a lot to get anything done. So, we're with you. We just keep on trucking through it. And I would tell you, as far as the skateboard goes, tremendous opportunity. And one thing that the city manager publicly said was, recreation is low on their list. They have many things to do for the city. And it's not that they don't want to do it. They want to do it. It's just things come in ahead of it always. So this is something that we should take the priority to do. And I think the city is working with us together. We can do it. So between you and the recreation director and the city staff. I think we have more momentum than ever before to get a lot done. And so I want to see us do it faster, quicker, and keep on going.
On it.
And then hopefully we'll have a groundbreaking this year.
That is the plan.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. All right, moving on to approval of payroll and invoices, Craig?
Sure. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for approval of payroll and invoices in the amount of $1,515,265.35.
Second,
Susie.
it's okay. Go
Roll
ahead,
call.
Steve.
Okay, Commissioner Ernst?
Yes.
Commissioner Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, reports and discussion items?
Commissioners, just a few items. Obviously, we all enjoyed the ribbon cutting for the Patrick Playground. It was incredibly successful. Thank you for mentioning that tonight as well. The playground has been so busy. I mean, just hundreds of people during the day, even last week when school was in session. So it's been very well received. Our next meeting, we're going to hear from the city on their special needs programming plans for Patrick Park. We're also going to have the agreement for the lift station at Ocean Strand. I'm not sure if Mr. Gorham would like to add anything to that. And hopefully we'll also have the softball field agreement for Sugar Sand Park ready for discussion at the next meeting. So maybe something on North Park, but right now I may take a breather from it. We'll see.
Okay, Sam?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for the record, the lift station document that has the terms, conditions, and provisions which we've discussed with you in public in prior occasion, particularly the cash equivalent, as it were, in the context of the $150,000. It is in the document. We've massaged the document along with the attorney for the developer, and also have had some very positive, upbeat discussions with the city. And we expect to bring it before you with all the conditions and those offered by you all in that document, and certainly by Brienne, having learned from the experience of our last easement. I say that only because of the fact that it was challenging at best, the end result of which is that we will have that before you at the next regular meeting to be approved. A reminder that the Form 1s that you need to file are due on July the 1st. As you know, the law changed. They have to be filed electronically. They can't be filed physically with a paper filing. Only Form 9s, I believe, and Form 8s are filed separately, which are not in the database of the Ethics Commission. You can get online if you have not done it before. All of us are doing, including myself, or other public employment that I have as well. The forms are fairly simple and direct. If you have any questions I can answer, I'm happy to try to help you specifically. And last but not least, the session of the legislature is supposed to recommence, as it were, and end with a budget. We're looking to make sure we can isolate, if any, special district bills that might be of concern to us. We've been following several, but again, the thousands of bills that are filed, literally thousands of bills, a very small number are actually adopted by the legislature. The governor's been signing a bunch in recent days, but there's nothing that I've seen yet come across our desk as your district council referencing districts in particular. So we'll get back with you. We'll brief with you. I'm sure that Jacob will update you at the next meeting when we know more about what it is that they've actually signed off on. Other than that, a pleasure to be with you, and thank you for listening always. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Yes, ma'am.
Susie, you want to go first?
I had the pleasure of going to the ribbon cutting at Patch Reef, and not only does Brienne get big kudos, but Melissa, I know you worked very hard, and Joanne, thank you very much. It's just brings tears to your eyes to see how well it's attended and how much these kids are going to benefit. All the kids, it's not just the special needs, it's all of them. And it was great to see that. Thank you all for coming tonight. I do want to throw something out there just to the skateboard community. Some of these extra things that might be beneficial for the whole community and help the skate park could come from some of your corporate sponsors for these professional skaters. So if anybody knows any corporate sponsors that might want to get involved and take a look and see maybe some extra benches or some shade covering, anything like that, it could help if that's not within the confines of our budget to do what we are planning on doing. So, but thank you all everybody for coming out.
Rick?
No, just went to the city event for the concert and all that. Very nice, very well attended. And I think that we're on our way into the summer. The heat the heated months of the summer. So enjoy and stay safe.
Thanks. Steve.
The Children's Park at Patch Reef, if ever we've hit a home run, that's it. Saturday night, I was at the same event as Craig, and must have been 8 or 10 people that came over to me and told me about how much their kids enjoyed it. I saw pictures of the park literally packed, standing room only. Yesterday in the rain, Dave Ogman was there with his son Jordan. Okay, and there were other people there in the rain. So you guys, our staff, Melissa, Joanne, Brianne, all of you did a great job. You know, if not for you, we wouldn't have gotten this done. To the public that supported us, thank you. And also to all of you here, we encourage you to keep showing up. We need to hear your voices. It's really important. This is how we know, this is one of the ways we know what's going on in the minds of our constituents. So thank you very much. And I think that's more than enough.
Okay, thank you. I'm not going to say it all again. Thank you. Thank you. Keep coming until the shovels are in the ground because you never know what could happen. So please keep coming. And that's it.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Okay, Commissioner Ernst?
Yes.
Commissioner Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang?
Yes.
And Commissioner Wright?
Yes,
Motion passed.
we are adjourned.